Okay, so the purpose of this video is to show all of you that will have an opportunity to demo the Press how we demo the Press. To begin with, what do we ensure that we have on hand? First, we have boiling water. Second, pre-ground coffee. The coffee itself is ground to a coarse grind, not as coarse as traditional French press, but certainly a little bit more coarse than drip, and certainly not as fine as espresso grind. A good rule of thumb, if you want to check your grind, take the grind, put it on top of the Press knob, and you want to be looking for no single particle that is bigger than any one of the grooves in the Press knob. We also don't want it to be powder. Then we have an Press we typically demo with a medium and 2 clean mugs. So let's get started. The first step that we do is to take the hot water and do a little bit of a preheat. Preheat means that you take a little bit of hot water, you put it into the Press, swirl it around, and dump it out into one of your mugs. Why do we do that? You always will get hotter and more consistent brew temperatures if you're brewing in a preheated Press. You can also see that this just took about maybe 5 seconds or so to preheat. So it's very quick. You don't need to leave it for a long time because there's not a lot of metal to preheat. It also gives you an opportunity when you're preheating to talk to them about the fact that it's a double-walled vacuum vessel and to remind them of what that means. A double-walled vacuum vessel means that there are 2 layers of metal with no air in between. You can see this Press has no sticker, and you see there's a little seal. That is a piece of glass, and the way this is constructed, the entire vessel is brought up to about 1100 degrees Fahrenheit, heated upside down with a glass bead on top. When it hits 1100 Fahrenheit, the glass bead melts, they cool down the temperature, and all of the air that normally sits between these 2 layers has been expelled or kicked out by the heating process. Just like a hot air balloon rises when you heat air, it gets less dense and it expands and it wants to rise, and it rises out of the press. The glass bead melts, and that plugs the hole between the 2 layers so that when it cools down there's no air left in between. So the preheat not only makes sure that your Press is warm, but lets you talk about the fact that there's a feature called double-walled vacuum that matters, and what the benefit is, which is that the outside stays cold and the inside stays hot. Next, we put in coffee. How much coffee? Well, a medium Press, we typically recommend 30 grams of coffee. 30 grams of coffee is 6 heaping standard tablespoons. This is an actual tablespoon, 15 milliliter tablespoon. Heaping tablespoon looks like this. So if you're working with pre-ground coffee, you bring a tablespoon or grab one from the kitchen store or a coffee shop that you're in and measure out 6 of these into the Press. I've pre-measured this to be 30 grams before doing this video, so I'm going to just measure it in and I'll dump the rest, knowing that I started out with 30 grams in this bowl. Next, we can talk about the making of the coffee and how it works. A reminder, the only thing that can go wrong during a demo is that you end up with coffee on the lip that does not get filtered by the Press. So please don't forget to rub and just make sure that the top edge is free of grit and grind. Anything above this little lip is going to end up in a cup, and it will defeat the filter. And you don't want to do that, especially not in a demo, because that would imply that the filter itself is not working, which is one of the key benefits. Now that I've cleaned it, I'm going to fill the Press, and I'm spinning the Press. Why do I do that? I spin it to wash any grinds into the coffee. Do you need to do that? Well, only if there's grinds on the walls. I do it as a matter of habit, and I fill to the upper fill line. Coffee tends to float. The fresher it is, the more it's going to float. So the next thing that I do during a demo is to give this a little stir with whatever spoon you have. In this case, I'm using the tablespoon that I use to measure the coffee. Then I move that, I put it in my dirty cup. Remember, I started with 2 cups. One I used to dump out the preheating water, and also to put my dirty stuff. Now I still have 1 clean cup I'm going to use to demonstrate. Next, I take my AsperPress filter and I just lay it on top gently, and I push it down until the lid is flat and not moving around. What does that mean? It means that the filter is nicely seated and will be ready when we want to push it down to do our demo. I then wait 4 minutes, and we'll be right back when that 4 minutes is up. Okay, we're back. 4 minutes has elapsed, and now I'm going to start pushing down the press. We use the opportunity when we're pushing the press to talk to people about the fact that using an AsperPress is it's a different filter technology. You're filtering the coffee twice, and the filters are 9 and 12 times finer than anything in the world. And in practice, that means that it's going to be more difficult or take more time to press down an AsperPress filter than it will a normal French press. That's to be expected. We also typically will do the first portion of the pressing myself, and I'll demonstrate that as it gets more and more tough to push down, you can pull it up just a little bit, make it a lot easier to push down. Once you've done that, you've pressed a little bit, you've shown them that they can pull up, then I typically hand it to someone else that I'm demonstrating and let them experience the push force and let them finish it off. If you notice that they themselves are finding it difficult to push down, you can remind them that they could pull up just a little bit like that and keep going. But typically, in a stroke of pressing an AsperPress, you never need to pull up more than once. Finally, you tell them and you help them see when it's down. When it can't push any further, it's done. Next, what do we do? Well, remembering that the AsperPress, one of the key features and benefits of it is a clean cup of coffee. What you want to do is take your cup and pour out just a tiny bit. What does that do? It lets you show them the cleanliness of the coffee, which is going to be a lot clearer and cleaner than anything they're used to. It lets you show them the foam, and the foam is evidence of both the pressure that was used to push it down, but also the fact that there are aromatic oils on the surface. Third, you can show them that in the reflection of the light in the room, they will see oil floating on the top of the coffee. And that's important for you to point out, because French press coffee is distinctive in part because it includes all of the aromatic oils. Oils float, and this device pushes the grinds down, leaves the coffee up. That means that the oils are going to float up and through the filter. The filters are also metal and not paper. Paper absorbs oils, metal filters do not. So just like a normal French press, all the oils and aromatic oils, which is part of the flavor profile of a French press, are retained, and all of the grinds are pushed down. Finally, by serving only a little bit into the cup that you hand the person you're demonstrating at first, you also are allowing this to cool more quickly. Coffee that comes out of an AsperPress is very, very hot. In your demo situation, you want that person to be able to experience it quickly. And so serving just a little bit lets them experience all of the benefits of the pressed coffee quickly, and also have something that they can taste immediately. After they've tasted it, then typically we offer them a full cup. Finally, we typically offer them milk or sugar so that they can enjoy that cup the way that they want. The last thing you want is for the person that you're demonstrating to feel like we are dictating with the AsperPress how they should enjoy their coffee. That's not the case at all. We are ensuring that the coffee itself is expressed in the way that best benefits the coffee that is being served. But we certainly don't want to imply that it has to be drunk black versus with cream or cream and sugar or Splenda or anything like that. Finally, the last part, after we've served them a cup of coffee, the last part that we try to do is to show them the empty pot. And to do that, I'm going to dump out all of the coffee into an extra bowl. Until nothing else can come out. Okay, and now we see that nothing else is coming out of this. Why do we do that? Well, there's a claim in the Espresso features and benefits. It's hot for hours. We talked about that in our demo, which is a double-walled vacuum. Grit-free, sludge-free. We talked about that when we served the first cup. And the third part is that the last cup tastes like the first. And what does that mean? Well, the last cup tastes like the first is true because the filters prevent the coffee that's underneath the filter from passing into the coffee that you're drinking. To show them that, we empty out the press completely. We show them that there's nothing else coming out. Then we pull out the filter, which is of course very dirty now, and we show them that inside the press there's actually still liquid left. What does that prove? Well, a moment ago I showed you that nothing else would pour out. The liquid that's left is the liquid that is under the filter that cannot pour through the filter. This is the coffee that in a Bodum or a Freeling or a cafetiere or a no-name French press would normally mix into the coffee you're drinking. And in the Espresso, it does not mix into the coffee you're drinking. And this is the empirical evidence that we show in a demo to demonstrate that indeed when we say the last cup tastes like the first, we mean it. The filter does not allow the liquid underneath to pour into the coffee you're drinking. That is a benefit. So, in summary, what do we do when we demonstrate an Espresso? First, we preheat the vessel. We talk about double-walled vacuum. Second, we add coffee. It was 6 heaping tablespoons, which is 30 grams for medium press. Third, we fill to the top fill line. Fourth, give it a stir. Fifth, put the press filter on top. Then we wait 4 minutes. Next, we pour out a small amount and demonstrate the clean cup, the oils on the surface, and let them taste it. Next, we pour out a full cup and let them dress it the way that they want. Finally, we dump out all of the coffee, show them that nothing else will come out, and then pull out the filter and show them that indeed, even though they thought there was nothing else in the pot, there actually is a small amount left. And we demonstrate how the fact that that liquid is at the bottom is a benefit, and it's the benefit that allows the last cup to indeed taste like the first. I hope this has been helpful. It's certainly the way that we demonstrate over and over again at trade shows, and I hope this has been helpful for you to get a sense of how you would demonstrate this in your situation.